What are you doing?
Oh my god.
I don't even know what's going on.
Player one. Prepare yourself.
Happy holidays. I've got a gift for you. Buy 4 tarot readings or coaching session gift codes in any combination and you'll receive 2 additional gift codes too. So use all 6 codes for yourself or share them with friends and family as holiday gifts, stocking stuffers, or maybe even birthday presents. These don't expire, so you can feel free to use them and share them throughout the year. Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for being my friends. Hi there, Taurus. This is your weekly reading for the week of December 21st. Happy holidays. I'm wishing you a wonderful Christmas and a very, very good time this holiday winter break. Monday, the card that you've drawn is the Devil card, and this is not a big deal. You guys know I've explained to you the Devil card before is actually doing you a favor. This is a card that's kind of a warning to make sure that you don't slip into the different notions of what we have that weakness can become, or that it stems from, right? We've heard of the 7 deadly sins and weird movies made out of these, like sloth and greed. Well, it would be easy to see how people could get caught up in that kind of greed mentality during a holiday week that's supposed to be, originally, we know it was back to biblical times and the birth of a man named presumably Jesus or Yahweh or Yeshua of Nazareth. And something like that. These stories have persisted. And it was really about celebrating the birth of somebody who loved everyone so much and was able to express forgiveness and caring for people that were really outcasts in the world, like the stories of how he famously saved a prostitute from being hurt. You know, those crazy countries where people stone people to death, or these terrible medievals and archaic type of horror stories, which unfortunately still in some very backward and screwed up countries, they think that honor killings are okay. But this person became the symbol of love and forgiveness and compassion and mercy. And then we get videos of people at Walmart being trampled on a Black Friday, or, you know, all these crazy images of what would we call greed. What would we think of another way that a bad kind of representation of what people should be like could manifest as cruelty, impatience, right? Anger, irritability, you know, things that go too far. And so I think the Devil card could really be more indicative that you might actually see other people around you acting in a very strange way that you say to yourself, man, that's never going to happen in my family when I've got a family. Well, maybe you say to yourself, we'll have a tree if we can afford it, and we'll make a cake for Jesus' birthday. That's what I do with my kids. Or we'll exchange gifts with each other, but one token gift, a reasonable thing. Or maybe if we've got a lot of money, we'll donate to families that are struggling, holiday seasons, homeless. But the devil card generally comes in and tells us that there's something going on that is more of the basic instinct of the human nature, to want to be angry and find revenge, or you're not like me, I hate you, or you don't come from where I come from, so we can't be friends, or look, I can't even use the skin color thing, because here, at least in the United States and most other civilized countries, we don't even care what color, we can't even tell what color you are. I mean, I suppose if a person walked into the room with being purple with pink polka dots, we might be like, cool, is that like a sticker or what is it? So I think that the main way to interpret this energy, especially because of the emphasis on your solar ninth house of the bigger picture, spirituality, religion, the law, the bigger picture in terms of immigration issues, the legalities of things related to maybe a seventh and eighth house issue where a family becomes divorced and Christmas becomes restructured and never everybody's playing nice and everything. It's easy to schedule and make it flow for the kids, then the relatives and everybody else. But you know how it is? My kids experienced this with me, that we were remarried, so they had half siblings, step sibling, and then had multiple sets of families we had to go to. And I've told the adults the story how horrible it was, difficult for the kids, not just me. And everybody else was willing to work around it, and it had to be the one family, my then husband's mother, and really she was the kingpin, hiding behind the big fat guy. She had to control everything, and I realized in the end, I'm like, she's only doing it to us. It's really only geared toward me and my family, even if I do have your son. So just know that there are people that have some really shitty behavior. I'm not going to lie to you. And you could be watching behaviors like that in other people, or you hear them have one of those screwed up, stupid conversations about politics or religions that they don't understand. Or how about, why can't we just all decide we don't want politics in our house? We don't want the religion on the table for dinner. We don't care what language you speak, because if I don't understand you, draw me a freaking picture. Saying you have pain in your ass is pretty easy to draw on a piece of paper. Draw a big ass and then draw some little lightning bolt things and it looks like pain, right? But you might notice this with other people, because Mercury in Capricorn, though it sextiles Chiron in Pisces and there's some future healing there, I think with you guys the emphasis is on future healing, where it could be that one day you create a family structure that is to your liking, to your design, with the love and support and happiness of all involved, or where you say, I will not tolerate people getting stupid at my dinner table. Do not even bring your stupid crap into my house. Come in, leave your opinions at the door. Let's have food and let's love each other and tell stories about silly things like puppies and babies and the strange things children do and how they get excited at a little egg full of silly putty. Keep it light. I think that you're going to be, out of all of the signs, you're somebody who I believe will be much easier, much better at blending even in harmonious conditions and saying, when I'm older and when I could do all of the decision making and together with my partner or spouse or nobody, me and my dog Fred, we are going to make this work right. It's going to be quiet, lovely, peaceful. I'm working at a food kitchen or reading to people in homeless shelter. Maybe you'll find your own way to make it right. So we also have Mars in Libra, semi-sextiling, Jupiter in Virgo. So your solar 6th house and solar 5th house. So this is talking about kind of a little unease, or as we like to call it, a dis-ease in the body. It could be that your heart is kind of like, wow, these people always have to be dysfunctional. Why? Don't worry too much about the why. I mean, I could tell you stories about people in my family coming from other countries because we're Cuban. My ancestry is Afro-Cuban on my mother's side, Spaniard on my dad's side. So my mother, her family was from Cuba and Canary Islands. And of course, they would eventually have been back traced to Spaniards. And then the Afro-Caribbean comes from the slaves, quite obviously, that were forced into Cuba. So I've seen every manner of difference and dysfunction arise from the dysfunctional people being the ones who should have been the most tolerant. And I've just used it as a way to make sure my kids never end up like that they do not see color, division, or lines. And the only thing I want them to notice are the people who suck and the people who don't. And so then you don't martyr yourself to the people who suck either. We just try to do more on our part to compensate for those people who do suck. They suck like Hoover vacuums, which is an old saying, because I bet you that like Dyson sucks really well. And no, I'm not pimping them because they didn't give me a free vacuum, or else I'd tell you what really sucks. And I have pets, so I only have hard floors and things that suck hard floors. Tuesday, we've got the Death card in reverse, which could be kind of like, for you guys, something like innocence lost, where you finally come to this realization, wow, so Santa Claus isn't coming down the chimney. My dad won't show up with the pipe and presents in his pockets because he's in prison. And my mother's got some issues or addictions like smoking or drinking. And you go, that's okay. It is what it is. I keep myself safe. And again, I let go of the idea that this should have been normal. And then I will create normal in my life, and I'll do it like a freaking pro. A normal pro, where you're like, nobody's going to be upset because nobody's allowed to be upset on Christmas. And so this could just be you kind of letting go of those notions that, hey, I thought this was supposed to be like a Norman Rockwell painting. I thought this was supposed to be like that. Grandma, grandpa, all these people, happy, smiling people holding hands, So you might have to just kind of let that go and realize that nothing is perfect in life because no one is perfect. And you could have a perfect machine that, like a brand new sports car, and then it like burns up, explodes, and you find out there was a manufacturer's defect. Well, there are defects that present in people too, because, we're just organic creatures. Haven't you seen those anomalies where 2 tomatoes will grow and it will look like it was supposed to be 2, but they're mostly 1. And we're like, that's not normal, but we'll still eat it. It's still good. Still is a tomato, right? Just watch those worms. Wednesday, we got the 8 of Wands, where you're feeling a little bit better about moving forward. You're even like, you know what? Fast forward 20 years. I've got a PhD or a doctorate, or, I'm a teacher and my family is nice and we have everything we need and we have food, shelter, and love. And I'm going to make it normal. I will have children in my 30s when I know I'm ready. And when everything is ready, we've already hiked Mount Olympus, and done whatever we can do. Now we're going to start with chapter 2 of our lives, having babies and puppies and families and kittens and funny home movies and babies on vines doing ridiculous things like falling asleep in a bowl of pudding. And so these are the ways that you'll feel the universe changing for you. It could be just realizations like, hey, it's okay then if I've got a drunk uncle. So as long as he doesn't do anything weird, we'll just kind of keep him in a corner, strap him to a chair, but you'll see that things will work out for you very easily from here on out. You'll start to make more of the adult connections and things where you'll be like, yeah, look so there is bitchy Aunt Zoe. Look, she can't be happy even if you bought her an island, filled it with servants, and all she had to do was drink cocktails on the beach and have somebody spritz her with Evian. And yet these people are just the way they are. Just accept them. Don't try to fix them. When we're young, we're very opinionated, and you guys are already opinionated people. But as we get older, we really do become more like our rising signs. And if you know that with your birth calculation, you need to know the time, the date, the place exactly to get that right. Do the best you can. Free tools on the internet. You don't have to pay anybody to do it. I do it for free for all my clients anyway. They know they're in for a long conversation with me when we get to know each other. On the 24th here on Christmas Eve is where we had that Two of Wands, and that's just the day where we've got Venus and Scorpio sextiling Jupiter and Virgo. So again, we've got that scorpionic energy in the 7th house of partnerships, and that's where Venus is, making it like really nice if you could spend some time chilling with your friends and enjoying the week, some time off. You'll see that you guys can come up with all kinds of mischief. And for those of you who are allowed to date, I think that there will be a new friend. And it may be with that Two of Wands in reverse that you're not able to really do anything about it yet, but you'll see in time if you just keep it together and don't scare people, don't try to run away. If they say you can be friends but you can't date, go, okay. And then be friends, because you wouldn't date if you weren't being able to be friends with somebody anyway, right? Friday, 8 of Cups in reverse is interesting because here we are on Christmas Day. And Christmas Day, we've got Uranus stationary, so you've been set up here on Christmas Eve for some excitement. So what it is you feel a sense of anticipation, and I reckon with you it's going to be less about the material and more about feeling like I feel quite grown up. I realize that crazy Aunt Zoe is just Zoe. We kind of tiptoe around her as long as nobody's abusing anybody, not verbally, emotionally, or physically. Ooh, weird. Dead person in my room. Okay, so I don't know. I wish I could give you a sign. Her name is Penelope, and she's associated with the color pink. So there's got to be a Taurus child out there somewhere, young person who's expecting to hear from Penelope. We also have the moon in Cancer, making it very emotional, but this is kind of going back to the traditional, and for you guys it may even have a stronger sensation, a feeling of going back home. So maybe you live with one parent, you visit another, maybe you're with your parents but you visit the other grandmother from the other marriage. And so there will be something sweet about this too. Mercury in Capricorn, your solar 9th house, semi-squares Neptune in Pisces. And so this will give us even a more almost nostalgic, but kind of rectifying. I know we all like that rectum, damn near killed him. Anyway, so we could have something here that kind of adjusts a little bit of disillusionment with the 11th house of friends and bigger groups. But if you just look at it for what it is, what is the core about being accepting of other people? Maybe it doesn't have to be from another country, language, culture, belief system, lack of belief system, or step brothers and sisters where you're like, you know what, it's okay if we're totally different. We don't have to be alike. In fact, we're not alike, so let's just enjoy each other. You'll see that even out of kind of an uncomfortable situation, something works out through it, especially related to family and siblings that come through divorces, marriages, remarriages, ex-family members, and the groups of people that they can be. They may not be a 5th house brother and sister, but they could be a new friend if you just accept each other the way you are, which sometimes just even if somebody else isn't actively trying to accept us, we could just be sitting there like, I just accept you because I love you. You don't know me. I guess I don't, but I would love to get to know you. You know, where we could be like, it's okay to be you. I'm not sitting here criticizing you or trying to take your spot from being your daddy's favorite girl. I'm just here eating the chips. Okay? You know, so sometimes helping other people come to terms with the way they feel helps us feel better about just being supportive of them without having to distress them at all. Mercury in Capricorn will trine Jupiter in Virgo. Ugh. I can't believe it. I finally yawned. Now I've made you guys are falling asleep over there. Anyway, the sun will parallel Mercury here on this day, making the communications easier with those people that you're hanging with. Uranus direct will be kind of exciting, like you finally realize that you're best friends ever. It's like, boy, 24 hours ago, we thought we hated each other, and here we are skipping down the road to go buy ice cream at the store. Be careful about strangers. Saturday, we have the Hermit card, which is talking about the newfound wisdom and seeing things in a different way, seeing the light, as it were. And on Sunday, we've got somebody actually seeing things from a completely different point of view. Literally. Could be more figuratively, but this is where you realize, you know what? I had all these preconceived ideas that I didn't know come from my dad's new wife about her ex-husband, and she says they're all mean and screwed up and crazy and evil. I met them and they are so normal. I can't wait to go back. She's going to hate. Haters going to hate. But I'm just going to do my thing and you will see, you guys. It's going to work out perfectly for you. It will be a very interesting Christmas holiday winter break season for you. I guarantee it. Be open to whatever comes. You just focus on being centered in yourself and put your hands together, maybe in some kind of lotus position. You know, put your fingers in that little weird thing or put them together and say to yourself, I am at peace in myself. I am learning and growing and perfect just the way I am. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do, and I can call 911 on the people who will try to do things to me before I kick them in the nuts. You know, just be at peace all on your own, and you will see, Taurus, everything will work out perfectly for you. It's going to be fun. Take pictures.